Days, lead director of GrandQuest. Welcome back to another video. I'll be talking about the ARC system, which has been highly anticipated, and I'll be explaining how it works, what else you need to know, and other information that I feel like is necessary for you guys to know. Before we begin, make sure you like and subscribe to this video so you don't ever miss out another GrandQuest video. Alright, let's get into it. So I'm gonna speak as a bit informally as I normally do on this channel. Reason being is because the ARC system is quite complex, and I feel like if I try to speak in a set tone or way, then it might not make as much sense. So I'll try give as much examples, as much information as I possibly can. So if I do end up stuttering, if I do end up backtracking a little bit, please just bear with me as I'm trying my best to make this make sense for you guys. Alright, so arcs will be aimed to be bettering a certain attribute, whether it be fame, power, or knowledge, or wealth, of course. And at the end of your arc, you'll receive XP. So what this means is that I feel like there's a bit of misconception that every arc you do, you end up receiving another star, which has been explained inside the attribute system video. And this doesn't really make sense because let's say you did 5 arcs, then all of a sudden now you have 5 knowledge, which doesn't really work, you know what I'm saying? So the best way to do this is around every 2 arcs or every 2 or 3 arcs that you do, you would end up receiving and increasing your star or / attribute. By the way, make sure you watch the attribute system video, otherwise you'll have no idea what I'm talking about, as I stated inside the attribute system video. Alright, so then afterwards, with arcs being aimed at a certain attribute, this means that there's overall going to be 4 arcs. Now what this means is that you guys can only select 1 arc. So there could be some people that want to go on the fame arc. There could be some people that want to gain more knowledge in the world. As we said, that there's going to be different types of arc attributes that you guys want to max out. With the arcs will be specifically targeting these type of attributes so that you can be able to grow and gain the knowledge or information or strength or money that you desire for yourselves. I feel like this is the best way to give you the amount of freedom that all of you guys desire, because my aim for GrandQuest is to make sure that you all have the amount of freedom you'll be able to be who you want to be. So this is how you guys can be able to select an arc that you'd like to go on. So before the arc occurs, you have to DM or let a member of staff know that you're selecting an arc. And you also need to place Saint or Tyrant ending. Now what this means is that we understand that with the side quest system back then, it made it seem as though that everyone had to be a goody two shoes. That's not what we want, because we understand that some people want to be like Luffy, but some people also want to be like Kaido. So in order to create a balance, what we have is a Saint / Tyrant system. Now I'm explaining this briefly so you guys can understand it, and I'll try to explain it as quickly as I possibly can. So what this means is that Saint / Tyrant ending just basically means if it's a good or bad ending. Now I need to emphasize something very, very importantly. Good or bad ending, especially the bad ending, doesn't mean that anything bad happens to your crew. I'm going to give examples so you guys can understand what could possibly happen if it was a bad ending and if it was a good ending. So let's say that your arc was in Skypiea and you chose a bad ending. What would happen is that you and your crew will end up becoming tyrants and taking over all of Skypiea, and it would be your land and everyone would be noticed it as your island. Let's say you were to choose a fame arc and then you had to go to Skypiea or something. This is just hypothesis, this isn't true. With that being in mind, it would be a bad ending for the inhabitants of Skypiea and to the world, because damn, the Sky Island has been taken over by pirates. However, it's good for your crew because you have a huge territory which gives a bunch of cash for it. Hopefully that makes sense. So a bad ending doesn't necessarily mean that something bad happens to your crew. It just means that the outcome is different and it might not be in a positive way, but that doesn't mean that negative things happen to your crew. Sometimes bad endings, tyrant endings, could lead to more benefits for your crew rather than a good ending. However, let's say you chose a good ending. This could mean more cash or more allies on your side, etc. We hope that each arc that we give you in GrandQuest will allow you to have the freedom of what you want to be. So no more forcing you guys to be nice and be like Luffy or be a goody two shoes. Some of you guys want to be evil and some of you guys don't want to be good. So we've decided to give you guys that option and give you guys that freedom to be able to choose what you want to choose. Alright, Now, as we said earlier, since there's arcs, there's 4 arcs. In each arc, there's 4 missions. So we have an arc, and within the arcs is a bit of information. So a poneglyph is inside there, and I'll talk more about the poneglyphs later on. But there's going to be a poneglyph, a bit of information, and the missions that you have to complete within that arc. Now, these missions can only be done once a day, and these are called the main quests. So the missions that are given inside your arc document will be your main quests. However, we understand that some of you guys don't want to do the quests and then all of a sudden just leave the lore server. Sometimes you guys want to roam around, and like we said, you're going to be doing these quests with other people within the lore. So the best way to do this is by allowing you guys to move freely after you've done your mission. So as there will be multiple crews with you on your arc and multiple solo pirates and or marines within your arc, this means that you'll be able to move around, talk to them, converse with them, and have fun with them. This is the best way that we think that you'll be able to remain active within the lore server, and you'll be able to do all the things that you need to do. So these things, such as talking to other crews and moving around the island and exploring, which you'd have to put inside daily stories on, by the way, will be known as side quests. So just to recap, main quest is the main missions that are given inside your arcs. Side quest is just you moving around the world after you finish your quest and just finishing that area. Hopefully that makes sense. Alright, so there's always going to be a cap on the amount of crews that will be able to complete a specific arc. So as we said, there's going to be 4 different arcs within it. There's going to be an arc for wealth, an arc for fame, an arc for power, and an arc for knowledge. Now, not everyone will be able to do the one that they desire. Reason being because it's a first come first serve basis. If a crew tells us, yo, we want to do this, and they're like the first people to do it, and then it ends up being filled up, then it's going to end up being filled up, and that might be upsetting to you, but for next time you just have to be faster. So there is going to be a cap on the amount of crews that can be able to be in a lore arc. And yeah, so this means that everyone is doing a different thing and not everyone's doing the same thing, otherwise that creates a huge imbalance that we don't want. So I felt like I should say that to you guys. Now, at the end of each arc, there's always going to be bounty given to someone. There's always going to be bounty handed. However, what I want to emphasize is that there's gonna be cash and bounty given. However, let's say for a fame arc, as we said that fame gives bounty, etc. In the attribute system video, this means that the fame, the max amount of bounty that you could possibly receive is by you doing a fame arc. The max amount of money that you could receive is by you doing a wealth arc. The max amount of knowledge that you can be able to receive is if you do a wealth arc. If you want to receive the max amount of power or have a chance to get a nice big territory, then that can only be achieved by doing a power arc. You can receive bounty and prizes from doing other arcs. However, if you were to try to get the most bounty or something, or try to get the most money, then you'd have to try aim for the arc within that category so you don't miss out, because those give out the most amount of that amount of attribute, if that makes sense. So hopefully that makes sense. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask me in feel free to ask me within the server. Alright, now one thing that I find like it's very important for us to say for you guys is that once you kind of decided and selected the arc that you wanted to do, it's so important that you guys are active, because crews that fail to be active during an arc will receive a warning, and if you receive 2 crew warnings, then that means that your crew will be completely removed from lore. The reason being is so that a lot of crews that are active want to take part in lore and want to complete actions within their arcs, but sometimes it's dependent that they need to have other crews with them for these arcs to be continued and finished. However, if this crew is not pulling their weight and crew is not really being as active as possible, then that just drags things downwards and it's not really as fun and helpful to you guys, and people who wish to do the lore aren't able to do it. So it's so important for you guys to be active, and for crews who are in the arcs and they feel as though the members who are currently in their same arc isn't pulling their weight and isn't being active, then you're free to report them to us, and then we'll be able to handle it for you to gain a bit more activity in that arc, and to help you guys be able to grow and continue your arc in the way you planned. Alright, I'll be moving on to the poneglyph system, which I feel like is very important. So as I've expressed earlier, in each arc that you've been given, you'll receive a document that has a type of poneglyph. Now all this means is that there's going to be some information that's been given to you, and it's basically that all these arcs that you've been given is part of the hidden story, or the hidden void, I would say, of the world. And all of the arcs, all of the poneglyphs will either have character information of important individuals that live within the the Void Century, or it might just be weapon information and tips and things that would help you go to the Grand Quest, or the Grand Piece as we call it inside our lore server. This is just the best way for you guys to be able to move within lore and have a bit more information. As we said that we want to have around 24 poneglyphs, well 24 to 42 poneglyphs, and 3 of them are going to be weapon blueprints, which are currently in the possession of Yonko, and 4 overall talking about the direction and the very important history that will help you find the Grand Quest. Now, there are different types of levels of importance for the poneglyphs, and they're labeled in color, and you'll see it at the beginning of your arc. There is red for the most important poneglyphs, that is something that is very, very rare. There is orange for the poneglyph for a weapon. There is blue for something that's quite important, and everyone will receive a blue poneglyph after they finish their arc. And there is a green, so that's normal, like character information or someone who lives beforehand, etc. So you guys can have a bit more information. Now, all archetypes have the chance to gain the red poneglyphs. So once you completed your mission, depending on the arc that you decided to go on, there is a chance of you to get the red poneglyph. However, this is a very, very rare. So, like I said earlier, after you finish your arcs, all of the arcs will give a blue poneglyph to help you direct you on your next quest. However, this is dependent on where you select to start. So if you select the Saint/Tyrant ending, that can give you a chance to receive a red poneglyph. But this isn't always 100%, and it's dependent on the importance of the arc. Basically, what that means is that if you've decided to pick a Saint ending, that could give you a red poneglyph. However, if you decided to pick a Tyrant ending, that could also give you a red poneglyph. However, there's differences, so whatever you decide to go for can give you benefits. For example, if you decided to be all good, there is benefits, but there's also losses. However, if you decided to be all evil, there's also benefits and there's also losses. So maybe a good mix and match is kind of best, but this is what we mean by truly being able to progress within our lore. We want you guys to have the opportunity to decide what you want to aim for, whether it be good or bad, and there's consequences and benefits for you picking that road. Now finally, all I have to say is that 2 solo pirates are able to enter each arc, and all the arcs will have separate servers to avoid meeting with other pirates that aren't doing your arc. However, we'll have a hub server where no arcs are taking place and pirates can just vibe and do as they please. And what's very, very important, and I think I need to mention to you guys, Yonkos might be in the same server as you. They won't attack you, and this is probably the most important thing I said, RDMing in an arc or an arc server is completely and strictly forbidden. Before you attack anyone or before you engage into any contact, you must roleplay it out. If you don't do it, then you'll receive a crew warning. And sometimes some of the arcs that you do might make you encounter a Yonko. So please be mindful and smart about picking an arc, as some might cause you to fight a Yonko. Now hopefully this whole arc system makes sense. You might have to rewatch this video a couple of times, and you will probably definitely need to ask me a couple of questions towards the ending of, well, after this video, because there'll definitely be a bunch of questions. So I'll be willing to take and answer all questions that you guys have, and hopefully it makes a lot of sense to you guys. We do hope that you guys enjoy this arc system, and we'll be putting down all the arcs for you now, so you'll be able to start picking the arcs. Now, arcs won't be occurring today, which is Friday the 17th of December. They'll start tomorrow, which is Saturday the 18th of December. Reason being is because we need you guys to pick your arcs. We need to also make sure that the arcs are completely ready and we have all 4 quests ready. So there is a couple of things that we need to do before the arcs. So the arcs are coming out tomorrow, not today. Now that's all I've got to say. Thank you all so much for watching this Grand Quest video. Hopefully I was able to speak as coherently and as best as I possibly can. If there are any questions, like I said, please drop it into the comment section below, or DM me or ping one of the moderators inside chat, and we'll hopefully assist you. Thank you all so much. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next Grand Quest video. See you later. Bye guys.